Hello, it's Tate here from Nanjing Marketing Group. I'm going to give you some really practical SEO advice here to help you get started with Baidu. If you're going to have a website that you want Chinese people to visit, then you're probably going to want it to rank on Baidu too, right? Because Baidu is the main search engine in China. In a lot of ways, it's similar to Google, but in quite a few ways, it's also pretty different. Now, I'm going to take you through our full checklist for Chinese technical SEO for the website. And this is the same thing that we use in-house to make sure that we haven't forgotten things. What this is going to do for you is it's just going to help you get your foot in the door so that there aren't going to be major issues that are preventing your website from getting indexed in China. Of course, the main work that you're going to have to do for SEO or for marketing is going to be more about creating content, for creating valuable, useful content for users, right? Now, I think that over the years, for Google especially, those technical aspects of SEO became less important, or at least they became easier to master. And a lot of that is true for Baidu too. Before I take you through the specific list here, I think it's a good idea to check some Baidu search results. So here's Baidu.com. I'm going to search for dog food first. All right, here's the search results page. Here is a advertisement in kind of a product listing format. Another ad with an image there, more ads, and then next, this is the first organic search result, and this is Baidu's own Wikipedia type thing. Below that is Baidu's Tieba, which is kind of like a forum or social platform. Next up, we have related information in a list about dog food. There we have pictures and some organic search results here. A lot of the organic search results have images along with them, but often these images are not very user-friendly. You know, like this one here, I can't see what's going on. That's just text. Here's a link to JD. That's kind of like an Amazon of China, not the biggest one, but second biggest. And I can click through and follow along, onto other pages, and we'll see similar things. This is an advertisement too. I can tell by these guangao characters there. Just let that load. And we have more organic search results as we go through. This is Zhihu, that's like the core of China. Any of the advertisements should direct us to places where we can actually make purchases. But a lot of the other search results too, I mean, some of them are purchase oriented, but others are just informational. All right, so that's what a Baidu search results, that's what the pages look like. Now, back to this list. Before we get started, we need to do a little preparation so that we can start gathering information. If you're a Western marketer, you probably have Google Analytics or something like it. You probably have Google Search Console, because that provides a lot of useful information or finding errors that Google finds about your website, right? Baidu also has equivalents for those too. Baidu Ziyuan is like Search Console, and Baidu Tongji is like Google Analytics. And we like to use both of those. For the purposes of SEO in particular, we definitely want to install Baidu Ziyuan. That's the number one tool out of these four that we'll want to use. And later on, after we have got started with a website, we'll be able to check Baidu Ziyuan and see if there are crawl errors, see how many pages are indexed, submit sitemaps, etc. Also, you'll want a rank tracking tool. You might have one you like already. Some of those work well with China, others don't. Sometimes some of those tools don't allow you to actually search within China, and that can be a problem. Our team likes to use this. It's ijan.com. It looks really old-fashioned, like something from 1999, but it has a lot of useful features within there. We use it to check Baidu Authority and other SEO analytics, right? Also for rank tracking, of course. All right, so after you have those things set up, you can track your data over time to check your results. Now, domain configuration is really important. That's the next section here, and that is, you have to choose: are you going to use a new website for China? Are you going to use a subdomain? Or are you going to use a subfolder? Luckily for SEO purposes, all of those things are going to be okay, and the choice of what you do is probably going to be decided by other factors. From my point of view as a marketer, if we can create a separate website that is really focused on China, is hosted in China, loads quickly, has the information that is just specifically what Chinese people want to see, then that's great. A lot of times we don't have that option, of course, right? So putting it in a subdomain or a subfolder will also be okay. We just want to avoid, for SEO, we want to avoid a situation where the Chinese content is not on a separate place of its own. Like some websites, they will actually have the same content on, they'll have multiple languages on one page. You click the language switcher and it will show you different content, but that can be pretty hard to get working for search engines, and it ends up being a mess. And we want a piece of content to be located on one place. Now, a search engine will see content even like it might look the same to a user if the content is on yoursite.com/zh and www.yoursite.com.zh, but to a search engine, those can be different pages. So we would use redirects to make sure that users just end up in one of those. And we would recommend using HTTPS now, the secure SSL connection. You might not use it yet, but make sure that users are going to one of those instead of both. Next up, let's talk a little bit about loading speed and visibility. The site needs to be accessible to Chinese people and accessible to Chinese search engines, right? The content on it can't be hidden. The pages and the images should be an appropriate size so that they load quickly enough. I really would like it if sites were hosted in China. That's not always possible though, right? To see how well a website loads, we check it manually within China, but we also use a tool like this one. This is 17ce.com. And I could take a site from here. Let's check this one. Okay. Check this one, enter it in, and it will start to check the speed for us. Hopefully it shows us mostly green here. But if it doesn't, then we might have a problem, A lot of Western companies that we start working with at first, when we check their website, will often see problems here, and it can be pretty significant. That's another issue that we check. We talk about in more detail in some other posts on our blog too. Structure. All right, so let's say that at this point, you've prepared, you've decided which kind of domains you're going to use and you're hosting, and basically you're able to make sure that your site loads quickly for Chinese users, right? Then you got to think about what type of structure you should use. And we want to use a clear, logical, hierarchical structure on the website for Baidu. I think that Baidu is not going to be good at figuring out some unusual things about your website as Google is, right? So think about Baidu as being not quite the genius that Google is, okay? URLs should be written in Pinyin or in English text. They shouldn't be written in Chinese characters. No Chinese companies even use Chinese characters in their URLs, really, or it's pretty rare. Don't use any funny punctuation in them, and use a logical structure for the URLs, right? Like, for example, homepage, category, subcategory, and finally a product page. It should be lined up like that. And along with the URLs, the menu should follow that pattern as well. And it's helpful to have breadcrumbs that use that too, right? I'd still advise against using dynamic URLs. Those are the URLs with the question mark in them. That's not always a problem, but it can be. Also, some more details in here that you can check. I think that it's good to use canonical tags. It's good to use H1 on each page, and just kind of obvious advice, but make sure that robots.txt is not blocking any important pages or sections. This is why we write this down as a checklist for our team and for others, is because I've seen people miss this. Developers in the development stage, a company might block some pages, and then 3 months later it's not indexed and they're wondering why, and then sometimes it's just because of something simple like the pages are actually blocked by robots. We should use language tags, and there's a couple of ways to do that. It's going to make it a little simpler for Baidu to figure everything out. Unlike Google, which wants to crawl like everything in the world, Baidu wants to crawl things that are interesting to Chinese people. You can also submit a sitemap to Baidu optionally. If it's simple for you to create a sitemap, you might as well submit it. Next, let's check some content. Okay, let's do another search here on Baidu. I'm going to search for project management software in this case, and then we see here's some ads up top and some Zhihu, that's like Quora of China results, and then we have some results from different companies here. Could pick one up and just see how the content is on that page. I'm doing all of these training videos just in one shot, by the way. Errors and all. All right, so this is a site for, it loads kind of slowly for me here. I'm not in China right now. I might pick up another one. All right, this one loaded a lot more quickly for me. This zentao.net. All right, so this is a website that it looks nice. It has Chinese content on it. I can see that they put some care into the title tag, and they've broken it down into a lot of different chunks of information that's easy to pick up. Right, that's my first impression of this website. In particular, we'd want to crawl the site, and we want to see that there's a title tag, there's a meta description for the important pages, and the way to write those is a little bit different because you can fit a lot of information into Chinese characters. So a title tag with 20 to 30 Chinese characters might be able to fit quite a bit. In this case, for this website here, I'm looking at their title tag, and it looks like they put in a few keywords that are about 6 to 8 characters long, which is really common in Baidu. People will try to stuff a bit more keywords into the title. I think that's okay, but it might not be the most relevant to the user. For both the title and the meta description, we want to think about what it looks like on search results for users, you know. So users are going to see results like this, and it's good to write something that's persuasive and informative for them, so that they know that what they're going to get. Then they click it, and then they like it. The other thing to consider, though, is these images, and you should put these images on the website in a certain size and format, so it's easy for Baidu to grab them and put them up. It might not be easy to get right at the beginning, but if you play around with it for a bit, you will be able to get it right. And the images should also have alt tags, and you should have a 404 page that is helpful for users. You know, if they go to something that is nonsensical. So this page, I don't know, it's okay. At least it gives a search box and in Chinese, you know, so that's good. Better than nothing. All right, so everything that we've said so far is all about these things seem very basic to me, but I know that they could be confusing to somebody that doesn't really know much about SEO. And I hope that by going through this list, you or people in your company will be able to find things that you can improve for your Chinese SEO. Of course, this is just basic. If you have a complex site, if you have a site with many different pages and categories and filters, many different languages, or you're also considering not just SEO, but how to integrate your SEO with your content marketing or social marketing, or how to get it done in a way that your development team can handle, that's where things start to get more complex, and it requires more of a discussion to determine what is the best way to go ahead, right? Content is going to be key for SEO. Hopefully you just get these technical issues out of the way, and then you're ready to create great content for your Chinese readers, you know, and put that content on your website, but also put it on other websites that Baidu is going to be crawling too. Later on, you can follow up. Follow up by using Baidu SEO or Google Search Console to see if there are errors. Use a tool. There's one called Link Examiner that I like to use that will crawl the website and find out what type of errors there are on different pages. Duplicate content is another thing that we check for. That can get to be a complex issue. But basically, what it means is you want to have a piece of content on one page and not have the same content shared on multiple pages on your website. A problem is that other websites are probably going to copy your content and paste it as their own too. All right, so I think we covered basically what I wanted to cover here about Chinese technical SEO for your website. If there are some other topics related to this that you want to hear about, just let us know in the comments, or let us know what you think about this format. We'll also leave a couple links. One of them is going to be to like a China Marketing 101 kind of page, where we have more basic training information about Chinese search, Chinese social, marketing planning, and how to run a bilingual marketing team, basically. Thanks for watching, and see you again.